Hello guys, Crispy here and welcome back to another video. In this one, my friends, we're going to be testing the Steam Deck again in The Last of Us Part 1. Because, believe it or not, I still cannot believe this very well. Valve's testing indicates that The Last of Us Part 1 is verified on Steam Deck now. Of course, we're going to answer this question right here. Does this match your experience playing this game? Well, so far in previous updates, it definitely doesn't. But now, it's verified with check marks on all things, so it should work pretty well, especially the last one. This game's default graphics configuration performs well on Steam Deck, so we're not gonna touch graphics settings first, alright? Let's play it, shall we? By the way, as usual, I am using an external capture card over here to record everything that we see, so I am gonna look up at my external monitor. The performance is exactly the same as if I was actually playing on the Steam Deck's monitor, and later on into the video I will also be using the display on the Steam Deck just to show you like the 50 Hz option with 25 FPS lock if it can't achieve 30 all of the time. So let's go over the settings first, guys. Alright, let's see what it defaults to. So it's 720p right here because of the capture card, alright, not 800p, but it's almost the same thing. And we're using FSR over here, set to quality. It also enabled VSync, so let's turn it on first. And on the advanced graphics options, it is using the lowest settings, basically, which is expected. Let's go now. Oh yeah, the frame rate limit over here. Oh my god, we're getting 50 FPS. What? Almost 60? That's crazy. But yeah, the frame rate limit is turned off at the moment. Performance overlay is just the overlay that you see on the top left corner, alright? It's not gonna improve performance. I see a lot of people telling me, oh, you didn't have it set to the maximum, so of course it performs poorly. No, it's just an overlay, as it says. Anyway, okay, no more 50s. But it is getting 30s right here, and it's not looking bad, especially on the Steam Deck's monitor. It won't look bad whatsoever. FSR is at work. You can see a lot of noise around Joel right there, but again, on a smaller monitor, it won't be as noticeable. Textures, yeah, some of them are terrible. Unfortunately, I think it will drop from 30 FPS, okay, in some scenarios. But it is very impressive that it's not stuttering whatsoever, first of all, because, again, the previous version of this game was a stuttery mess, but now we haven't seen it drop from 30 yet, and it's actually fairly smooth, guys. This is really nice. Okay, this is also not the easiest part of the game to run. It's also not the most intensive one, but it gets close. Okay, gets close to the most intensive parts. I'm gonna go to the capital area, which is where we tested this last time. Next, okay? Like, what the hell? This wasn't even playable at 240p previously, guys. And we're not really seeing a lot of, like, NPCs on screen. Obviously, it's just Ellie, which is not even on screen yet. But yeah, when things become really CPU intensive is where a lot of NPCs are on the screen. And that's why I want to go back to the capital area as well, because we're gonna see a ton of enemies in that place. And it usually drops the FPS a lot in CPU-bound scenarios. But yeah, so far so good, guys. It is actually really playable. Even if it drops slightly every now and again from 30 FPS, I think this is actually really decent for a Steam Deck. It's a handheld device, you know? It runs on batteries. Oh yes, and by the way, it's not connected to the charger, but that doesn't make any difference whatsoever on the Steam Deck, okay? It's 15 watts total between the GPU and CPU, and it's always gonna be that whether or not you are using the charger. Ellie? Everything all right?
What is it?
Oh, 28. Oh, yes, I remember this part being really intensive right here. But yeah, it is dropping consistently from 30 FPS into like 28 and 29. But it is not too bad. Once again, if you're playing the game with a controller, especially on the Steam Deck's display, it won't be as noticeable, the FPS drops. The problem is, maybe the input lag will be a little bit too bad. Oh boy, okay, now it's starting to drop into the mid-20s. That's starting to feel not that alright, okay? But again, it's still playable. I wouldn't call it Steam Deck verified still, though. But it is playable. It is playable. All right. Oh boy, again 27. Okay, this area is much more intensive, guys. I'm gonna try locking the FPS to 30 right now. All right, it's probably gonna be the same. Yeah, it's exactly the same thing. I thought it might distribute that TDP a little bit better between CPU and GPU, but since both are heavily utilized at the moment, 83% or 80% on CPU and 99% on the GPU, you can't really balance that a lot, you know. Like, it's always gonna drop in some areas. Then the FPS lock doesn't do anything. The thing is, when I play on the DeX monitor, I will be able to select 50 Hz as well as 25 FPS lock, and maybe then it will be a smooth 25 FPS 100% of the time. Right. So maybe I'm just gonna stop it there, okay? I'm gonna try to use like balanced FSR next. Right, balanced FSR next. Here we go. Let's see if we can reach the 30 FPS mark. I have it unlocked, as you can see. Okay, still no. Yeah, 26. It still drops a lot into the mid-20s. Look at that. Even with balanced FSR, dude. Again, it just can't really allocate more power towards anything because it doesn't have more power, I guess. Yeah, that is a huge drop right here, dude. I was not expecting that. A little bit underwhelming. I was thinking maybe we could gain a few FPS, but I guess at this point it could be a bandwidth issue or something. Let's see, ultra performance. If it doesn't move on ultra performance, which is essentially 240p, it's a bandwidth issue or something else. CPU, no, not really CPU. But yeah, it barely moves even on ultra performance. And now it looks like crap, so... yeah, the way to play this game is with quality FSR, I guess. It will drop no matter what, so yeah. Okay, we're back to quality FSR now. Things are looking a lot better, especially when moving. And let's leave this beautiful giraffe, okay, and go to the capital area next, shall we? Wow, they have made such an improvement here. Optimizing it for the Steam Deck, it's insane. Alright, over here it always dropped from 30, it still does, 29, 28. So around the same as we were seeing around the giraffe, right? So this first part of the capital area isn't the most intensive, although it's pretty intensive because it already dropped, of course, from 30 FPS. But running around here, looking around, no problem. Still getting 30s comfortably, above 30 all of the time, and no stutters. Once again, that's a breath of fresh air compared to the previous time around. And this is why you should not pre-order titles, because then they will put a little bit more effort into optimizing their games before they come out. If you pay up front, they will just take the money and, well, yeah, we already got the money, so why optimize it better, right? Let's go here. This is also super demanding, looking at the vegetation. 29. You know what? It's still not what I'd call verified and plays great on a Steam Deck stuff, you know? But it is not terrible. It is way better than it was before, that's for sure. The fact that it is running one of the most intensive PC games out there is insane. Over here, we saw a ton of stuttering because of the NPCs, as I told you. And it's still a bit of a stuttery mess. It should be doable, especially if you lock it to 30, and it is way better than it was before, because I think we didn't even get 30 here previously. I now locked it to 30, by the way. But at least if you have the FPS unlocked, it does stutter a lot still, okay? Not as bad as before, again. These are like micro stutters at this point. And now if you lock it to 30, it doesn't stutter as much. We still see some frame spikes here and there, frame time spikes. Yeah, but not terrible. How did they not see me yet? Like, what the hell? Oh my gosh. All right, let's go. Down here now, 30. This is a really intensive area. Yeah, 26, still dropping into the mid-20s. All right, well... for this to be smooth now, we definitely need to try it on... oh, God damn it. On the DeX monitor with 25 FPS locked. But because as soon as you unlock the FPS or get FPS below the FPS lock, it's going to hell, basically. It starts stuttering a lot. It's not enjoyable at all anymore. Look at this. But the good thing is it doesn't seem to drop from 25. 24 there. Only dropped slightly, Joe, from 25. So it could be a really smooth experience at 25 locked. Alright guys, here we have it. We are still at the exact same settings, okay? That's 720p, not 800p. I actually prefer to get like 1 or 2 more FPS and set it to 720p and have little black bars on the top and the bottom of the display than get like 23 FPS instead of 24 or 25. It does make a difference at these super low FPS. Okay, FSR2 is set to quality, and we're still using the auto settings, which are the lowest here. And of course, we are now utilizing the 25 FPS lock right here. 50 Hz on the display, 25 FPS lock, and it shouldn't move. Take a look at the frame time graph. Ooh, I feel a ton of input lag as usual. Look at that. It is insane, the input lag that comes with the 25 FPS lock. So it's going to be unplayable because of the input lag at this point, honestly. I think we should try to allow the tearing over here. It still has a ton of input lag. Even with the tearing enabled. I don't like that. I mean, again, if you can get used to these input lag values, oh my, it's too much, I think, guys, honestly. You can't really aim for crap like this. Maybe it's just me, but I just cannot get used to these input lag values. It is too much, and you actually gotta shoot things every now and again here in this game, so it's important to have decent aim, or at least decent input lag, so you can aim at things under like 3 seconds or so without people shooting at you every single time first. So yeah, I don't like this too much. It does make it so it is capped to 25 100% of the time and not stuttery whatsoever. Also, I'm sorry about the quality. It's not great here now, but it is what it is. I already tested the capture card, so there's that. This is just a little test at the end of the videos that I do to see the 25 Hertz thing. Also, if you're wondering how it looks up close on the DeX display, this is it. There are some little artifacts, like right here, for example, that you can see happen because of the camera, but those aren't really there on the actual display. I think it's pretty impressive that the frame times are now really smooth, zero stutters whatsoever, but at the same time, I just can't really recommend this input lag experience to anybody on a game that requires shooting some people at times. And the controls are already pretty clunky whenever you are trying to shoot at people. It's really hard to do so with the Steam Deck, and even on a PC, honestly. Oh god, I cannot do this, guys. So this 25 FPS plus input lag just makes it a lot worse. So that's been it. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the performance this time around. It's much better, but still not perfect. And I wouldn't say it's Steam Deck verified. Catch you in the next one very soon. Love you all. Bye-bye.